everybody, welcome back. It's Mark with Exotic Car Play Place. I just want to walk you through two of the worst and best modes of the E60 M5. There's a lot of reputation for its SMG transmission, some good, some not so good. And I'm going to show you the modes here, the worst mode you want to drive it in, and then I'm going to give you the mode I like to drive it in because I truly believe it's the most exciting mode, aside from the M fact, of course, the M mode, of course, because that in itself, to me, I leave that as a treat. So I never usually activate the M mode for normal driving, but I'll show you the worst mode to drive these cars in. Number one, for wear and tear, because if you put it in the dumbest mode, that's usually what you have is accelerated clutch wear, and it's also the least pleasurable to drive. And the other mode is going to be the best mode, in my opinion, the most sporting mode, aside from the M mode, of course, and it's going to be the best on the clutch, and it's going to give you the most pleasurable driving experience. Now let's go down here. So let's start with the concept of driving this in regular D mode or drive mode. This here, right now we're in neutral, and if I switch this over, I'm going to put the foot on the brake, switch it over, you'll notice I'm in manual. If I toggle this one more time, now I'm in D. I'm also in D, and now here's the other thing. If I put this all the way to the left, keystroke that to the left, now you'll notice over here, that is my transmission shift speed settings, and I'm down on 1 bar, which is the slowest shift speed available, and it's in drive. This is truly the dumbest mode to drive this car in. And the reason it's the dumbest mode is, number one, the drive mode becomes less of an engaging experience in general, and it's okay if you've got your hands full of coffee and you're doing your makeup or whatever you're gonna do, that's fine. But I'm gonna give you a little demonstration here. So we're gonna drive off in D. We're shifting. See here, I'll show you and I'll count. 1, 2. It's a full 2-second count where it shifts between where it's disengaged and where it's re-engaged into the next gear. 2-second count when you're driving with half throttle. That is a really, really ugly drive shift, and it's not a lot of fun to drive it that way, because overall it just makes it really, really kind of sloppy and slow and lurchy in traffic, and it's just not too fun to drive. See, I'll give it again. It's a full 2 seconds, and that's really ugly. So that's not the way to drive this car. Now, the best way to drive the SMG transmission, the SMG 3 transmission in the E60 M5, is in the following settings. So number one, always drive the car in manual. Number one, mainly for the main reason that this is actually a sporting car. As a sporting car and a sporting character, you want to have that control. A lot of people don't even think the automated manuals today are even a true sporting type of vehicle. There's certainly some benefit in having a manual stick shift. You really are fully engaged, but even a lot of the paddle shifts aren't bad today. But at the bare minimum, you want that control. So you want to shift this to manual down here. So you're going to toggle this one more time, and you'll notice now it shows it in 4. So that means it's in manual 4. And that's how you want to drive it. So we're in manual 4, but now what we're doing is driving it in kind of the midway position, because when I toggle it over to manual from, even though I was on shift speed 1 on the automatic mode, when I toggle it to manual, it defaults it. So it basically puts the shift speed into the midpoint, which happens to be 3 bars on this car is the midpoint. So it defaults it to manual, or it defaults it to 3 bars once I toggle it to manual, and that's okay. That's not a bad way to go, because they say, BMW puts it in a position where most people would find it palatable, if you will. For me, so I also give this little button down here 2 keystrokes to the right, and that takes me up to the full 5 bars on the dashboard here. As you'll notice, right now I'm in 3rd gear, 5 full bars. That now gives me the fastest shift speed available in the default setting. Now, we all know, and I've given you some demonstrations in the past about this already, that there is actually a 6th mode, but 6th mode only works when you deactivate traction control. So you do not want to turn the traction control off in daily driving. That's my advice. You do that and you're asking for trouble, because if you daily drive these cars, you can experience any number of inclement weather conditions, poor driving conditions because of gravel, loose road, loose gravel on the roads can cause you problems, and it can cause slippage, and you don't need to go off the road when you're on the street. That's the last thing you need. So really, I wouldn't advise taking the traction control off unless you're taking the car to the racetrack, in which case you don't have insurance. That's void anyway, so that's your own risk. But at the end of the day, this is the mode that I would recommend operating at, because number one, it's going to give you the most enjoyment. It's going to be less of that jerkiness, and it basically makes that bad reputation go away. No, it's not as fast as a twin clutch, dual clutch transmission that you find today, but operating it this way still gives it that sensation. It still shifts quite quickly, and you don't have that problem of lurchiness, and it's actually relatively enjoyable to drive. So everybody, I really hope you enjoyed that video. This is the most desirable way to drive an E60 M5 with the SMG 3 transmission, and it actually brings out the spirited nature of the car. So thanks again. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll talk to you real soon, guys. See you then. Bye-bye.